This is the story of how one of humanity's oldest medicines became public enemy number one. A journey spanning 10,000 years from ancient healing to modern criminalization. Cannabis didn't become illegal because it was dangerous. It became illegal because of racism, politics, and corporate greed. Archaeological evidence from the Oki Islands near Japan shows humans were using cannabis 10,000 years ago. In ancient China, Emperor Shen Nung was prescribing it for ailments around 2700 BCE. The Yanghai tombs in northwest China revealed a 2,700-year-old shaman's grave containing well-preserved cannabis with active THC, the oldest physical evidence of psychoactive cannabis use. But the most fascinating discovery came from the Altai Mountains in 1993. Archaeologists found the Siberian Ice Maiden, a 2,500-year-old mummified woman with intricate tattoos and a stash of marijuana. Later, MRI scans revealed she had breast cancer. Researchers concluded she used cannabis as both medicine for her illness and for spiritual purposes. For millennia, cannabis was medicine. In 1839, Dr. William O'Shaughnessy introduced cannabis to Western medicine after studying its effects in India. He successfully treated everything from infant convulsions to cholera. Even Queen Victoria's personal physician recommended cannabis for menstrual cramps. By 1850, cannabis was in the US Pharmacopoeia as an approved treatment. Major pharmaceutical companies like Pfizer, Bristol-Myers Squibb, and Eli Lilly were selling cannabis extracts. America's founding fathers grew hemp. Virginia law required every farm to grow it. George Washington cultivated it at Mount Vernon, Thomas Jefferson at Monticello. Hemp was literally currency in several colonies. So how did this ancient medicine become a crime? The answer lies in early 20th century America and a man named Harry Anslinger. In 1930, as alcohol prohibition was crumbling, Anslinger became the first commissioner of the Federal Bureau of Narcotics. He needed a new enemy to justify his agency's existence, and he found it in cannabis. But there was a problem. Hardly any Americans used it. That changed with the Mexican Revolution. Mexican immigrants brought their tradition of smoking marijuana. Notice the Spanish spelling. Anti-immigrant sentiment was rising, and Anslinger seized the opportunity. He deliberately used the foreign-sounding marijuana instead of the familiar cannabis to stoke xenophobia. Anslinger's campaign was built on outrageous lies and racial hatred. He claimed cannabis caused white women to seek sexual relations with Negroes, and that jazz music resulted from marijuana use. He maintained what became known as his Gore file, stories of brutal crimes allegedly caused by cannabis, most of which were later proven false. When Anslinger contacted 30 scientists about cannabis dangers, 29 told him it wasn't dangerous. He ignored them and promoted the one dissenter's view instead. The press ran with his sensationalized stories. In 1937, the Marijuana Tax Act effectively banned cannabis. Newspaper mogul William Randolph Hearst, who had invested heavily in timber for paper production, supported the ban because hemp threatened his wood pulp business. Economic interests aligned with racial prejudice. By 1942, cannabis was removed from the US Pharmacopoeia. Anslinger targeted jazz musicians like Louis Armstrong, Charlie Parker, and Duke Ellington, using cannabis laws to harass black performers and anti-war activists. The war escalated under Nixon. In 1971, he declared drug abuse public enemy number one. His aide, John Ehrlichman, later admitted the strategy, "We knew we couldn't make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate hippies with marijuana and blacks with heroin, then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities." Nixon's own commission recommended decriminalization in 1972, finding cannabis users more timid, drowsy, and passive than dangerous. Nixon ignored it. Private White House recordings reveal he admitted cannabis wasn't particularly dangerous, but wanted harsh laws anyway. Today, 47% of Americans have used cannabis, and 68% support legalization. 24 states have legalized it recreationally, yet racial disparities persist. Black Americans are still 3.64 times more likely to be arrested for possession despite equal usage rates. Cannabis went from ancient medicine to modern crime, not through science, but through systematic racism and political manipulation. Understanding this history reveals how prohibition was never about protecting public health. It was about controlling specific populations.